Welcome to r/entitled people, where we share stories from your lives about people who think the rules don't apply to them, and they should get what they want. Thank you, friends, for subscribing to the channel, and for so many likes. And today we have 3 great stories. Subscribe, hit the like button, and let's begin. The first story, dealing with the dissatisfaction of entitled regular customer. The second story, the retail revolt, escaping toxicity, exposing lies, and embracing freedom. The third story, misunderstanding leads to unfair review, toy stores closing time clash. The first story is regulars complaining about us having to lower capacity because the owner has cancer. Bit of back info. My parents own a small restaurant, 8 tables outside, roughly same amount inside, although I can't use 3 tables due to the 1.5 meter distancing rule. Usually they both run it on their own, with first me helping until I moved away for university, until my brother started helping out for pocket money. My dad cooked himself and used to work like a bee until he was diagnosed with cancer last December. Ever since then, he only occasionally works for 2 hours when he feels good. Most days he's really tired from chemo. I moved back to my hometown. Now it's the 3 of us, mum, bro, me, running the business. Despite its size, the restaurant is really popular, so we're booked out almost every day. However, since my dad, who can cook for 5 tables at once, stopped working, we kinda had to rearrange, meaning my mom now cooks. My brother does the main service and I do the drinks, bills, and cleaning up tables. Also to note, we reduced opening times. My parents used to be open all day. But since my brother is still going to high school and I work until 5 p.m., we only open from 5:30 p.m. to 21:30, with an order stop from 20:30. It's so infuriating, TBH. People always knew we were a small business. I guess they like the small family business aesthetics. Sauce is made from scratch, so are appetizers like spring rolls. Summer rolls. We also served homemade pho and bun dishes. Every day I have the same argument. People don't reserve at all and demand a table. People trying to reserve 1 hour before peak hour. People calling in before we even open, etc. The absolute cherry on the top happened a few days ago. I'm still hung up over it, so I try to get it off my chest. There's this couple that has been eating for years. Usually both really chill and nice, tip well, and we really like them. However, they have the really bad habit of always coming in really late, not reserve or call in 1 hour before they want to come. My dad in his prime would always squeeze them in or even let them eat, even after we stopped serving. Whenever they call me now, I try my best to squeeze them in, but it's very difficult and sometimes I have to ask them to wait. Usually no big deal. The past 2 times they called in literally during peak hour. The 3 of us were busy AF. I had reservations throughout the evening. The husband called in, wanted a table for now, and my brother declined, saying we were completely booked out. After 5 minutes, his wife calls in, asking the same, but we were still booked out, so we really couldn't squeeze them in. Roughly 2 or 3 days ago, the husband calls in again, wanted to come at 20. Usually I would have not minded, but especially this week my dad got chemo. He was in pain and not feeling well. Usually if someone has late-stage cancer like that, they shouldn't be alone while their family works. But I guess sometimes it do be like that. I already told customers serving stops 30 minutes early today. Because of above reason, everyone's super understanding, apart from this regular. H, but you guys aren't even closing at 8. Me, yes I know, but today my dad is feeling bad and we would like to close earlier today. If you want to come a bit earlier, I can keep a table for you. H, I'm still stuck at work. Well, I know it's your guys' business, but this kinda sucks. Me, I'm really sorry we can't stay late. Maybe you could try some other time. Thinking that was it, I returned back to work when my phone rang again. H, I have to get this off my chest now. I think it's ridiculous you don't take reservations anymore, although you guys closed at 9:30. Why don't you change your closing time to 8 then? People rely on you and you let them down. You can't just close whenever you want. Me, slightly annoyed because we were full. Well, I'm sorry we can't accommodate you as we used to, but please understand that my dad literally can't work anymore and we can't run the business like before. We have to make cuts and I'm sorry it upset you. H, I think that's not a way to treat customers, and I really start to dislike you guys. Also, your brother hung up on us last time when we tried to call. That's not good customer service. Note that never happened. Usually we try our best to seat them, and I cannot imagine my brother hanging up. I even asked and he said no. I just said we were full. At this point I was really upset because not once he mentioned how out of their way my parents went for them all these years. Heck, if he bothered to complain about opening times, how come he didn't even bother checking the service stop? I ended the call by telling him that I'm sorry he's upset, but we have a lower capacity now. If he wants to understand it or not is up to him, but it's not like I can uncancer my dad. He hung up and I guess we won't see them anymore. Just because he used to go out of his way for you, you can't expect us to keep that up, you jerk. Edit. My dad's doing fine considering the circumstances. He even fixed the fridge yesterday. I showed my little brother this and he laughed, and now every customer that didn't reserve and being difficult is called H. Can't plug that guy's IRL in here, I think. I wish you all an amazing day. Kind guests and a lot of tips. So sorry about your family's restaurant and the regular customers' issues. It's frustrating when customers don't understand or appreciate business changes, especially when they're due to personal issues like your father's cancer. It's unfortunate that some customers aren't understanding or supportive as you and your family try to run the restaurant under difficult conditions. Customers must realize that business owners have personal lives and challenges. It's understandable that your father's condition requires adjustments, but your family's well-being should come first. Unfortunately, this regular customer couldn't see past their own inconvenience to understand the situation. It's disappointing that this customer focused on their own inconvenience rather than your family's years of excellent service. In these situations, it's important to prioritize your family and mental health, even though not all customers will understand or appreciate. I'm glad your father is doing well and can still help, like fixing the fridge. Keep your priorities in mind, and you'll hopefully meet more kind and understanding customers. Take care and best wishes to you and your family during this difficult time. The second story is Surviving the Chaos, Tales from the Retail Trenches. I used to work at a retail store. I won't name it, but we can call it the store. By the time of the events in question, I had received several promotions and was just one promotion away from the position of store manager. Unfortunately, my manager got fired, and my DM determined I wasn't prepared for the store. I agreed, and they brought in another manager. This manager was effing crazy. Her name is Manager A. She loved to yell. She'd yell herself blue in the face anytime, night or day. On the clock or off, stockroom or sales floor, customers present or no, she didn't give an F. Now, I'm a tough scout, and my feelings aren't easy to hurt, so I dealt with it all right. She was usually 3 to 4 hours late to work anyways, so I didn't see her most of the time. Unfortunately, she and the manager, Manager C, under me were always in cahoots. They faked each other's time cards, swapped shifts, despite the fact that in my 2 years with the individuals in question, I never took a single sick day because there was no one willing to cover, and even shared a Hulu. As the camel's back grew weary, so did the day of reckoning. I had opened the store, and around noon my closer, Manager C, came in for the day. As she counted her drawer down, another mall employee came in to chat. He was mostly my buddy, as no one else in the store liked him. He had a crude sense of humor, and not much of a sense of propriety, so I get it. The deal is, he was an understanding guy. If you told him his jokes made you uncomfortable, he'd apologize and back off. Managers A and C just laughed at his jokes and pretended to be buddies, and talked SH about him and wished senseless violence on him when he left. In hindsight, maybe I should have reported this behavior. But I digress. On the day in question, Manager C is counting her drawer. Enter mall employee. He's hanging out and chatting, finds a toy near our register, stretches it out, as it's made to be handled, and says, "Whoa, you could strangle somebody with this thing." Manager C slams her drawer shut and marches off to the stock room for like 10 minutes, just long enough for my buddy to leave. When she returns, her eyes are swollen and bloodshot, and she's sniffling and hiccuping and says she needs to leave. And I'm thinking, D, she must have gotten an SH phone call. It happens. So I let her leave and call around but find no one to fill the shift. So I stay open to close, no lunch break. If we're being super honest, I really did love that job, so I didn't complain. Well, I come back the next day to open up shop, only to find out that my mall buddy was fired that evening. So I hit him up and he tells me that Manager C called his company, complained that he threatened her, and got him fired. But here's the thing, I was there for the incident in question, so on my lunch break I went to talk it out with his boss. I told his boss I understand that it's a very serious complaint, but that he needs to hear the true version of events. Unfortunately, Manager C had called corporate HQ, so nothing could be done. His manager also showed me a couple other complaints that came from Manager A, which had come in the previous day as well. There was nothing to do about saving his job. Luckily, I had several open job offers from people who had been trying to recruit me, so I went and talked to a few and landed a job the next day. When I put in my resignation to Manager A, she seemed genuinely confused. She goes off on me and starts yelling about how SH it is for me to do that to them, how I know they're already short-staffed, and I can't leave them a week before holiday season officially starts, with only 2 managers and not 4. I just put my hand up and told her, if I don't leave now, I'll end up just like my buddy, and I'll be GD if that's how I go out. I'll not work under hostile work conditions. She flew into a blind rage. I just handed her my official letter and left for the day. About 3 months after I left, Manager A was fired for falsifying records, faking time cards, and 2 months after that, Manager C was terminated for job abandonment. Between the time I quit and Manager was separated, their staff became a revolving door. There's only one employee on that staff who stuck it out. I was very happy to learn they finally locked down a store manager, who I know to be incredibly competent, and he says he's glad he weathered the storm. But SH, was that a wild ride? You seem to have experienced a very difficult and turbulent period of time working at that retail establishment. Handling uncooperative supervisors, unethical conduct, and a poisonous work atmosphere can be immensely taxing and disheartening. That managers A and C acted in such an unethical manner, faking timesheets and unfairly firing your mall buddy, is regrettable. It's evident that their behavior produced a hostile work atmosphere, so it makes sense that you felt compelled to quit for your own health. It can be difficult to quit a job, especially in those situations, but it's crucial to put your mental health first and refuse to work in a toxic workplace. It's encouraging to learn that you were able to leave that circumstance with ease and swiftly locate new employment opportunities. It's also encouraging to learn that managers A and C were ultimately fired and had to pay a price for their misdeeds. With new management, hopefully the store is improved and given its remaining employees a better place to work. The third story is, customer writes bad review after keeping store open 20 minutes after close. Background: I work at a buy, sell, trade toy store that has both new and used toys. We also have a build station where kids can build minifigures. The store is located in a mall. So a woman and her 5 or so kids, didn't count, came in on a Sunday and were wanting to make their own minifigures and look around the store. My coworker and I were more than happy to help them, and they all went to build their figs. We waited patiently. Then about 10 minutes before close time, we let them know that they had 10 minutes before we had to start closing procedures. Side note, there is one day a week where this mall closes early, which means the store closes early as well. They all said that was great, and my coworker and I went ahead and started cleaning up other areas of the store. After 10 minutes, we let them know that we would have to start closing down the store, and we could start ringing them up if they wanted. The woman started to get extremely huffy and asked us why we were rushing them. I explained that our store wasn't allowed to be open longer than the mall was, and that all store employees were supposed to be out at most an hour after close. We told her she could let her kids finish their figures, and that we would give her 10 minutes to do so. When the 10 minutes were up, I went over to let her know. We had another conversation about why she couldn't stay longer, which turned into a 5-minute argument where I was trying to stay calm and she was getting more and more aggressive. I told her she could either check out now or we would have to close. She got extremely angry and had all of her children put all their items into the minifigure making area, and they stormed out. We ended up staying another 20 minutes to clean up after them and finishing procedures. The next day, my manager showed me the review she made. Here's what it said paraphrased. Went in with my kids, unaware they closed early. They had a minifigure table, so I let my kids build some. They didn't let us finish or pay. Instead, they kicked us out and made us take apart our figures. The kids were super sad because we drove out of town to make them. I'm extremely unhappy with the rude employees. My coworker and I explained what happened. My manager watched the footage and we did not get in trouble. Looks like someone forgot about the mall's hours and tried to change the rules. It would be great if temper tantrums worked as well as Lego builds. Hey, at least you got a great review for how well you handled the situation, which wasn't easy when you had a bunch of angry minifigure fans with you. Hope you enjoyed these stories. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Have a good day.